Esther said to 3 or 4 people yesterday, and it may seem strange to you that she could come this far, this long with us, and be having these kinds of epiphanies, especially after we've been saying these words for a long, long time. But words don't teach, do they? You have to have your own experience in it. It's only life experience that teaches. Strange that we offer so many words, isn't it? But along with these words, we're offering our knowing. And with that knowing is a vibrational frequency. And that vibrational frequency of what we know resonates completely. It matches perfectly the vibrational resonance of that which is your source. So as you are in an arena like this and you feel that resonance, you will be vibrationally changed. You will be. Which means for a little while, you may revert back, because we can only hold you so long in this room. But you will have a different point of attraction as a result of this conversation, because we will be tuning to the frequency of your core knowing. And when that's activated within you, wonderful things move through you and out from you and back to you. It's a wonderful experience. So Esther's epiphany, she said to her daughter and a friend and then another friend, I've finally figured it out. All I have to do. They laughed just like that. They did. All I have to do is decide what I want and talk myself into it. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. That's everything, you know. She also, it occurred to her that as she is thinking about a future experience, meaning a not yet manifested experience, that those thoughts flow freely. Something about that future experience is free-flowing and therefore delicious to contemplate. But then when she found herself trying to bring it into the now before it was ready to reveal itself to her, so she was trying to figure out what to do, when to do it, and who to do it with, and how to go about it. She realized she was introducing resistance into her future idea. Now, in and of itself, that may not seem so interesting, but we want to explain to you why that is such an important thing for Esther, or for you to understand. Everything is a vibrational reality first. And if you are taking pleasure in your vibrational realities, if that which is your future experience in terms of manifestation, but your current experience in terms of the thoughts that you are thinking, if it is pleasing to you, if it feels good to you, if you find yourself driving and wanting to think about it, if you find yourself lying in bed and wanting to think about it, if you find yourself just waking up and wanting to think about it, in that pure thought, there is so much power and so much orchestration is taking place. So Esther asked herself, why would I introduce into this moment, this clear moment where I've accessed the energy that creates worlds, and I've focused it through my vessel, and it's flowing outward for the creation of wonderful things that I desire. Why would I mess it up right now by getting ahead of myself? Why would I ask questions of myself to which I don't know the answers, and in doing so introduce resistance to the equation? But you see, the reason that we're telling you this experience is for a different reason than you might be thinking. Because Esther's epiphany was not about the creation of that. It wasn't about the realization of that. It wasn't about the manifestation of that. It wasn't about the actualization of that. It wasn't about the demonstration of that. It was about the fact that thinking that thought in that way felt good right now, and introducing that thought to it right now made it not feel good anymore. Can you hear what we're getting at? It wasn't about what it was going to later on create. That's a given. What it's going to later on create is for sure, for sure, for sure. There is nothing that you cannot be or do or have if you want it and you talk yourself into it. We just want you to understand that you are the creator of your reality, but you are a thinker of it into being, not a doer of it into being. There'll be plenty of action that you'll be inspired to, but that's not the way you create. You create through the conscious flowing of thought. So when Esther came across this, because she's been determined, we've been talking about getting on your high-flying disc. We'll talk about it a lot today. Waking up first thing in the morning, and before any worrisome thought or any troublesome thought or any past memory or anything that could muddy your waters begins, to just proclaim to yourself and to the universe that today you are anew. You've pushed the reset button. You are like reborn. And today, right now, in this moment, you are in a high-flying vibration, because in this day you have not yet introduced any resistance into the equation. And you didn't carry it over from yesterday. That's the most important thing that we want to say to you. During the night, you stopped the momentum as you slumbered. So when you awaken in the morning, you're in that high-flying place for sure, if you will focus there and allow yourself to be there. We'll talk more about how to get there. Esther said to us the other day, Abraham, I refuse to accept that if I wake up in the morning and I'm on my high-flying disc and then something occurs to me and I begin to ponder negative things and then I lose my connection to that high-flying feeling, I refuse to accept that I have to wait clear until tomorrow morning to get back on. And we say, you don't have to wait clear until tomorrow morning to get back on. There are all kinds of tools. It's just easier first thing in the morning. And so Esther's been playing that game every morning, waking up. And it's quite funny because she's by herself, and so she awakes. And then she announces to herself, I'm awake. Like somebody in the other room needs to know. I'm awake and I'm coming in. I'm coming in and I'm high flying, so get ready. Prepare yourself for the silliness, or for the fun, or for the high-flyingness of that which is me, because that's where I am and that's where I mean to stay. So as she has been for about 6 weeks now, waking up in a really steady determination to be high-flying and then doing her best to stay there. We've been saying to you that 17 seconds begins another new momentum. Have you been hearing us say that? So Esther says to herself, if anything occurs to her that's a slight deviation from feeling good, she gives herself 17 seconds to get over it. 17, 16, 15. She told a friend the other day, I have something to tell you and I only have 17 seconds to say it in, so I need your undivided attention because this is going to be fast. So since Esther's been playing this game where she's been really decided, determined to get on that high-flying disc, wanting very much to wake up there, acknowledge that she is there, and then milk it as best she can in order to stay there. Every morning, more momentum. Every morning, more momentum. Every morning, more momentum. And by that we mean more momentum in her ability to wake up there and stay there longer. The first day, she didn't even make it till breakfast. Second day either. By the third day, she was doing better and better. By the first week, she could maintain herself there. By the second week, she was so looking forward to going to sleep so that she could wake up knowing for sure that she was there. And as the weeks began to move past, she began to notice that her days were affected in this really powerful way. This is what Esther discovered as a result of this exercise that she applied deliberately. She felt clear-minded. Clear. She knew what to do. No confusion about what to put in the suitcase. No confusion about what to pick up and carry to the other room when you move from one place to another. No confusion about what to say when you're talking to this person. No confusion about what you mean to convey relative to this. Confusion gone and clarity in its place. Do you know how good clarity feels? And then she thought about what it must feel like for the astronauts to be in those rocket ships and be shooting through the atmosphere, out, out, out. She's seen the movies, have you? It looks hard. The tension of the rocket, there's so much resistance as it is moving at that speed through the resistance of that atmosphere, and then boom, they break out of the atmosphere. And everything is silent and easy. And Esther said, I broke out of the atmosphere. I left the resistance behind me, mostly. At least I know what to do. I can have that free flowing. So as she's been experiencing that and loving the feeling of clarity, knowing with certainty that the decision that she's making about this is the right one, no longer second guessing herself, no longer going, well, let's weigh the pros and the cons, let's torture me as long as we can under the guise of being objective. And we say, let's not. Let's think only about what you want and why you want it. Why introduce into a perfectly wonderful futuristic thought present tense? Why introduce the reality? A lot of people want more money, but introduce the reality of not enough money to the equation. Why do that if you understand that what we're talking about is breaking out of the atmosphere, breaking out into the clear space? What we're talking about is the feeling of clarity, the feeling of alignment, the feeling of knowing, the feeling of well-being, the feeling of love, the feeling of ease, the feeling of passion. Whether it's passion or ease in the clear space with no resistance is delicious. Just depends upon how much momentum you've got going on the subject at hand, yes?